everyone has trauma, right? Everyone has they're angry at themselves or whatever feelings you have, right? But there are people that who really hate themselves so much that they find other ways to express that. And what do I mean about that? I mean that people who hate themselves so much, they end up becoming racist. They end up becoming whatever you want to call it, fascist, whatever you want to call it, right? It's because they hate themselves. They have a hatred of themselves. They need to heal themselves. Not everybody is not born to hate. Nobody is born to be racist. We are either learn from that or our trauma teaches us, because everybody's trauma is different, or even though it's similar, everybody expresses it in a different way, right? So the people who have this much hatred of themselves end up being racist. They end up having trauma in themselves, of childhood trauma, teenage trauma, whatever trauma it is, because I don't know them. But to be honest, the reason why they end up becoming racist is because they don't love themselves. The reason why they either fascist or whatever else you want to call it is because they don't love themselves. They don't know how to express that. So what happens is that they end up hating other people just because they don't know. And on top of that, we live in a country who is okay that people are racist, who is okay, and that's because of Trump. And it has nothing. Trump is the system of for 30 years. You know, everything went for 30 years is the. I'm not going to talk about politics, but has to be about politics. We had the Democrats and we had the Republicans pretending that they care for their team, right? But in reality, they didn't care about, the Republicans don't care about the people, the citizens, and the Democrats don't care about the citizens either. But people who say, oh, I'm team Republican, or the people who follow, I'm team Democrat, right? They think that their team is helping the people overall. But in reality, that's not what's happening. In reality, what they're doing is putting everybody against each other, right? So even though people who have hatred of themselves end up listening to these two teams, right? And then they find which one they like the most, right? So the people who are racist end up listening to Team Republican because something speaks to them. Right? Something speaks to them, because nobody is born racist. Nobody is born hatred. Everything is learned, and they learn because either they hate themselves, their trauma, whatever it is, right? So they become, oh, I'm team this. We need to kick everybody out that doesn't look like us. They hate themselves, and once they heal themselves, they will finally love the other people who don't look like them. They hate themselves, so they hate people who don't look like them. That's what it is. They hate themselves. That's what it is. And I'm not saying we all have to be Team Democrat, because I personally not a team of none of them. Because Democrat, even though they speak correctly, they give you a lot of hope, but if you look behind it, they really do the super minimum, very minimum to help the people also, as they really try as much as possible not to help you. They give you 0.01% of help, and then there's like, oh, it's the other guy, right? So the people who love Team Democrat end up hating the other team, and even the people who like the other team. So these two big groups, Team Democrat, Team Republican, end up teaching the people who follow them to hate each other, when we all should be not fighting from them, fighting from each other. We should be fighting from them. But before we fight from them, we had to find ourselves. We had to find love from ourselves. We had to heal our lives. We had to heal our trauma. We had to figure out what makes us happy. And to do that, we had to stop focusing on politics, because politics is there to distract us. It's there to just put hatred in our hearts. And once you stay away from politics, you could here and there, poke in and see what's happening, but you can't be sucked in. Once you get sucked in, you become that becomes a spiral. Oh, I want to learn this. I want to learn what's happening to the world. I want to learn what politics, all that stuff. The more that you learn, the more these politicians are vampire energies. They take your energy away from you, and they suck it out, and they take it from themselves, right? So you become all anxious, depressed, angry from the politics and people around you. Oh, I can't be friends with Republican. I cannot be friends with Democrat. It's because they sucked your energy out of you. So you need to have minimum of learning about politics, minimum interaction with politics, and start finding who you are. Start finding what you like and start healing yourself. And the less you are involved in politics like that, the less they take your energy away, and the less they could hurt all of us. Because this did not start with Trump. People really think that Trump is won because Trump won is because for 30 years these two teams was against the people for different reasons and different ways, right? So eventually people thought, you know what, I agree with Trump, so that's what happens. For 30 years it been little by little. It didn't happen overnight, because nothing ever happens overnight, right? Let's just say, for example, if Trump was the person 30 years ago and he'd been running 30 years ago as president, guess what? He would have never won 30 years ago, because people weren't that hurt. People weren't that had that trauma in them. People weren't that angry at themselves, right? But 30 years later, it did happen because the generations and the making these people hate other people, right? It's just your parents and the learning, your parents and the learning had to hate through your grandparents, right? So you learn how to hate because of your parents. They all learned to hate because of these two teams that eventually, little by little, put everybody against each other. So Trump is the reason why we have Trump is because of 30 years of this. 30 years, a little bit of hatred, a little bit of making sure these two teams put everybody against each other for 30 years. That eventually we're in 2025 and so many people are hurt, very hurt. They're hurt. They're angry. They're angry for many, many, many reasons. And everybody has a story. And they're not angry because of you. They think it's because of somebody else. But no, they're angry from themselves. And that's the problem. We need to start just stop listening to these politics and start healing ourselves. For these people don't have our power anymore. And the more we put our power to ourselves back and heal ourselves, the less they could take away from us and the less they got power. This is why the news is always talking about bad news. Bad news sells because they're trying to take your energy away from you. This is why 99% of the time you never hear good news. You never hear good news on the news, because good news means it's good people out there, That means it's not everybody's bad. But they want to add the reason why the news put so much bad news in there, why it's always bad, why they're always reporting killing, robbing, or some idiot doing, racist stuff or whatever it is, right? It's because they want us to think that every person in this world is evil and bad, but that's not the case. That's not the case. There's a lot of people with good hearts who trying their hardest to help each other, trying to heal themselves, and they're never going to show none of that. They're never going to show the heal people. They're never going to show the good protest, the one that are quiet, because they don't want to show you that. They want to show you the bad stuff, to think that everybody's bad, because that's what they want. They want you to, is a white racist guy who hates Hispanics or Chinese. See, all the white person hate Chinese and Hispanics, but in reality, it's probably just one idiot, or maybe not one idiot. Maybe there's only 20 idiots, right? But they want to act those 20 idiots as 50,000, and that's the problem, right? They want to act like 1% of the population is 1% of the population is stealing food stamps by doing little, scheming things, right? They want to act that 1% is 100%. They want to act that everybody's doing it. But in reality, it's not that many people are doing that. It's always going to be idiots trying to do idiot stuff. Let's be real here. It's always going to be some idiot person doing some idiot stuff. But doesn't mean that everybody in the world is evil or bad or doing bad things. They just want to report that stuff to make you think that everybody's evil. Because the more that you hear that, this is bad, that's bad, you're being in fear. The more that you're in fear, the more that they can control you. It's all about control. All of it is about control. So you need to stop listening to the media, stop listening to the news, stop listening to the Democrats, stop listening to the Republicans, stop listening to all this stuff. They don't know anything. They're trying to throw everything in the wall, and whatever sticks, that's what they're gonna take, because they want you to be in fear of everything around you, and that's how they win. Fear wins for them. Love wins for everybody, and that's how you win the system. I have something in my mouth. That's all. You had to start with yourself. Once you start healing yourself, you could start helping other people. But you had to heal yourself. You had to do things for yourself first, and then you help other people. That's all. That's the whole thing. It is very simple and hard at the same time, because it's always a journey to heal yourself. It's always a journey to find who you are. It's always a journey to do all this, and it does not take one day. It does not. It takes years to just overcome whatever you have. To become the person you want to become, the dream that you want to become to dream. It takes years. It doesn't take a year. I mean, I wish it takes a year. Let's just be honest, but it does not take it a year. You just had to just do it. Stop listening to the media. They don't know anything. They just, first of all, how do we know what they're saying is true? Because they will never ever tell us the truth. And that's what you need to understand. The news media, the articles, the newspapers are never going to tell you the truth. They all work the same. They all work together to put you down. They all work together to put you down. They're all gonna give you half truths, or not even half, whatever's half of a half, 1/4 of the truth, and then the rest is fake. That's what they're gonna give you, 1/4 of the truth, and that's what they're gonna do. You need to just stop listening to that and start within yourself, and that's how you win. That's how you win. That's how we win as the population. Remember, if you ever watched the movie Ant movie, I know this meme has always been around for years on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, right? The Ant movie is a scene that says, it's a lot of them, and once they figure out that they could come, I'm paraphrasing, is a lot of them, and once they realize that they could win, we will lose, because it's a small group of them. Remember, it's a small group of them, and once we, the people who are like millions of us, come together of all race, all gender, well, there's only 2 genders, but all the races, and realize that we are more powerful than the top people, that's how we win. But until then, the cycle is going to continue. The cycle is going to keep continuing. So they don't want us to fight together. They don't want us to be friends. They want us to divide. The whole thing they're doing is the dividing. They're dividing us. They're dividing us from race, religion, how much money you make, you're poor, middle class, or whatever. They divide us from all of these categories. All of them. They divide us where we could hate each other and not talk to each other. Because once we talk to each other, we'll realize that we are very similar. Very similar. We all have the same problems, but just in a different way. Right? We need to realize that we are powerful. We need to learn to communicate. And that's what they don't want. They don't want us to communicate. We need to start communicating with each other. Doesn't matter. We need to stop saying, I cannot talk to this white person because he's white. I cannot talk to Hispanic because this white. Who cares? Start talking to each other. That's how we learn from each other. They don't want us to learn from each other because they know once we start talking, we realize we're more powerful than they are. It's a small group from them, and there's a million of us. We could change the world if we actually talk to each other and start realizing that, yes, we're all different, but we have very similarities. We all want the simple things in life. We all want love. We all want friendship. We all want to have a lifestyle that is for friends and enjoying life. We all want the simplest things. We all want the simplest things. All of us. It's not that much hard to say. Anyway, I have to go back to work. So, have a good day, everybody.